All right, as we will initiate the bans, Fnatic will start on defense this time around. As they will switch sides, obviously, since we are switching over to a new map. But they will ban out Glass, which is one of their most banned operators across the board. This FaZe Clan will take up the side of the blue team.
Should we maybe Hibana again, or?
Yeah, I would expect Hibana. That just makes it to where they have to choose what hatches they get open. There's 5 hatches on the downstairs site. And if you leave Hibana open, you can get all of them open. There is a special way that you can open up hatches with Maverick. If you guys didn't know, if you look at it as the square, you do 2 lines on one side and then just cut down the length of the hatch, and it'll actually break it open. You can do it with, I believe, it's 2 tanks of fuel, if I'm not mistaken. But that is the way that you can open up hatches with Maverick. So they still have a possibility of getting most of these hatches open. It's just going to take a little bit more time.
So pretty standard bans so far from both teams, with the 2 specifically coming out from FaZe being their 2 most prominent both attacker and defender bans that they've had in the past. And it's looking like it's going to be pretty much the same. Very, very straightforward defender bans, just knocking out Echo Meisters. They just don't deal with any of that annoying stuff. And it pretty much remains the same on attack as well. So pretty much the most straightforward ban phase we could have asked for.
You really don't see, especially by a team that's starting defense, if the other team bans the most prominent denial op for plant, they usually don't ban the other one. So Fnatic going to remove Maestro. The denial duo is no longer in play at all. You don't have the Maestro, you don't have the Echo, nothing really except more of the year 1-esque denial in the likes of Valkyrie, as well as anybody that, you know, Smoke, everyone that has Nitro Cells, stuff like that. Yeah. So that is basically going to be your denial from now on. I mean, they always could pull out a Clash and just try and run them down. That could happen. You never know. But I would not advise it. Shields and vertical play just do not go well together.
We'll see. They might have to get creative. We do see a Montaigne coming in, though, on the first round. Not necessarily a surprise, since we are going to the basement for the initial site. And that's going to be played by Unit. With 6 pick in as well. So they are going to look to spring that onto the players from Fnatic. But they should certainly be expecting something like that, as we've seen this many, many times before.
As once again, the main thing for this site is getting all of those hatches reinforced to the point where they have to choose which hatch they want open. Now, we've actually seen a couple of matches in the past, whether it be in Challenger League or a handful of other matches, where actually both hard destructors got banned out. This was like right when ban phase came in. There was actually a Thermite and Hibana ban on Bank for this specifically. I believe it was actually inside of a Challenger League match, but it was an absolutely bizarre game. I mean, having practically no hard destruction on Bank is not something you want to do. This map requires a lot of hard destruction in order to get onto site.
Certainly the case, and especially on this site specifically, you pretty much are required to have the hard breach capability, because we almost never see the alternate site inside of lockers get pushed. It's pretty much 9 times out of 10 going to be a push into the CCTV site, where we'll have to see our players take control there, primarily through the tunnel side coming in through servers, is the way that this round ends up playing out, and I wouldn't imagine this will be any different, but we'll see if FaZe has any tricks up their sleeves or wants to try anything crazy to maybe take the other site.
Yuna will grab the shield once again, playing the Monty, and Monty is extremely good on Bank, just due to the fact that he applies pressure with just his presence. You don't have to shoot, you don't have to do anything. You literally just have to stare at people and you apply presence. You assert your dominance over the defense as Montaigne. That is basically what you do. So, we'll help out the defense, try and gain a little bit of pressure on the blue stairs as you see Yuna start to do his thing. As they are going to notice that Magnet is playing the blue stairs with 3 ADSs, a shield, barbed wire, and an FO12. All to himself. The hatch will more than likely get popped open soon. Magnet is going to default back to the site. Does not want to play too many games with the Mountain.
Should be noted again, we don't have a mirror ban, but it's interesting to see the choice to still stay away from the mirror on this site, despite its usefulness that can be used here, even just with the capability to pretty much almost guarantee a denial onto the initial push and an attempted plan as long as you play it correctly. We're not going to see that present this time. Yuna, in the meantime, taking out quite a bit of utility that he's spotting on the ground right here. Got at least an L mine, just picked up another one. I believe he managed to take out a Goo mine as well. Just clearing the way for his teammates, as we're going to see Moringa open the server side wall and allow for them to push in to attempt to plant here pretty soon. Smokes are obviously going to be available, specifically on the Montaigne, to be able to attempt this, and we should see those coming out relatively soon. There's no reason to delay this. They are right at the gates of the site already.
2 seconds remaining on that plan, but Moringa is going to back up. Yuna going to block the Nitro Cell. And that's something that we didn't see happen yesterday on this exact same plant setup. They pushed the Montang in, had somebody try and plant behind them, but the Montang backed up and actually got the planter killed because he didn't try and block the nitro cell damage. That is exactly why they're using this Montang like this right now. They're using Moringa to try and get the diffuser down, Yuna to block any nitro cell damage that's trying to come out because it damages him a hell of a less. But the good mines will ting on the ground. It's not going to do anything to Yuna just yet. You have to land it at the very bottom of the shield, and Yuna will finally catch one of those. As you see the damage coming out, it's actually going to down Yuna, and Yuna will die to smoke. Astro going to find one, Virtue going to follow that up, Lusty going to pick up another, and this round will be won by the defense.
Fnatic doing it once again. A great denial from them, and overall, just great usage of their utility to just keep FaZe off. We knew that FaZe, again, we've seen this site play out obviously so many times that way, and Fnatic know exactly how to play it, and FaZe just never even really try anything to counteract the toxic babes that were being tossed in time after time again to stop their plant attempts.
I feel like we're writing the same story over again for Border. It's not just the fact that they're getting kills, it's the fact of how they're using their utility and how well timed the use is. That is a major component of Rainbow Six Siege. You do not want to, you know, just burn all of your utility right when somebody shows their face. They didn't do that. They were just using it gradually, tossing a couple of goo mines at Yuna, and right when that first one caught his foot, they're like, oh, he's very low on health. Toxic Babe, dead. And everything just fell apart right after that. Time constraint, as well as good utility usage by the defense, leads to a Fnatic victory.
So Fnatic get themselves off to a hot start yet again from the defense as well this time.
Oh.
They did have a little bit of a struggle before. What's up?
We're going upstairs.
Yeah.
Don't see this one too often.
So we're going to be heading right to the CEO office to act as Fnatic's second site, and then after this, more than likely, they'll head down to 1F to finish things off on their rotation here. Obviously, we'll see the windows get reinforced for the most part, just to give them a little bit more room to work with here on the elbow. And overall, leave a few hatches open for these guys just to maneuver slightly more.
And the main site rotation for this map actually does include this, but it's usually a choice up to the team. Do you want to play Open Era, or do you want to play CEO Office? And both of the sites aren't particularly great. This one has windows on the north side. They're easy to gain access to by the offense. The only thing you really have to worry about is anybody trying to hang out in the lobby and shooting you from the metal-gated windows. But it's very hard to stay alive inside of that lobby area. There are so many windows. They will finally don Mira, said Montang, but Mira going to be picked up by Fnatic as Aces will pick her up. Going to be putting down a couple of those black mirrors, try and find some instant information for his team. But the upstairs site is mainly just trying to fight all the information that's going to be gained from the north side of things, as well as reinforce this wall that Astro just broke open, because if you don't, exactly what's going to happen right there. They're going to pop up on the wall, and they have a very long sight line all the way down the main hallway of the upstairs. Makes it very hard to rotate out.
So we are going to start to see the rest of FaZe move in once again with Yuna on the Montaigne for these guys to try and utilize to push themselves towards the site. Obviously, a lot more open options this time, so I don't think that the Montaigne is going to be as powerful, in my opinion, on this site as it is in the basement with a lot more choke points, but it's certainly still find its use. Obviously, they will get a spot on the Buck running on the outside. Not much to use off that intel at this point in the game, but they can definitely assume that there's a large focus on the lobby at this point, and that is certainly the case when it comes to FaZe Clan's push. The question for FaZe Clan is, how do they transition this to the actual site? About a minute and a half, and only just now starting to put presence on the upstairs portion of the map. They've still got a long way to go before they even get close to an actual execute here.
Fnatic playing the long game once again, not overpeaking. Virtue is going to spot out Astro and to remove his head for him on the main carpet stairs. Oh my gosh, what a shot from this absolute madman. As this is going to slow down the push of FaZe quite a bit. They now recognize out the presence and his Virtue inside of the elevator hallway, and he's going to stick there. Yuna all by his lonesome upstairs currently. As Rezraz is going to try and get a little bit aggressive, and Virtue's going to find yet another one. Moringa, his head will roll, as well as Yuna, Rizraz. Virtue and Rizraz, the duo right now. Magnet going to find one of his own. It's all left up to Mav. And this defensive set on Bank right now by Fnatic is insane. Virtue with a 3K. Oh my goodness.
Just not giving the guys from FaZe any room at all to maneuver here. The second they try to move into their territory upstairs, it just gets shut down.
And that kill cam right there, ladies and gentlemen, just tells the tale of how well Fnatic is working together. They got the information on where the Buck is, and they have 3 people peeking from the same hallway at different angles. How do you win that gunfight, Blue?
You don't.
You don't. You don't.
It's everything coming together just so well for Fnatic. The tactics are strong, especially on the attacking side. Obviously, we haven't seen that yet on this map, but if we look at Border, it was incredibly strong. Now on defense, the communication is on point. And not only that, but the intel gathering has been great too, despite the limited intel they can get as defenders. And as a result of that, again, you're seeing these very coordinated pushes where you got 1 to 2 people moving out to take down one person and almost always guaranteeing a trade, if not an outright free kill against the members of FaZe.
You could say that Magnet is the player that's pulling the team together.
Yeah, there you go. I like it, I like it, I dig it.
I mean, at least he's playing the information game. He's been playing Valkyrie so much. Something definitely just happened over on B-Stream, by the way. That was a very loud woo. But yeah, make sure you guys are using that multi-twitch today. By the way, if you guys don't know how to work that, multi-twitch.tv/Rainbow6/Rainbow6 Bravo. You can have both streams up at the same time. Make sure to keep our audio line open because, you know, we just have better voices than Parker. Somebody clip that and send it to him. It's fine. It's okay.
Be careful with him.
Yeah, he might just, you know, choke me out in my sleep.
I don't mess with him.
You don't poke the bear?
No.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
Yeah. Even our production agrees with us apparently.
Yeah. Well, Stokes is a dead man. Okay. If he hasn't killed Flynn yet, he won't kill me. It's okay.
That's a good point, actually. Very good point. But we've got the setup set up here now for the guys on Fnatic. Still playing into the upstairs because of the amount of destructible floorboards that are available here. They need to play into this. They need to continue to hold this. If they don't, if they just allow FaZe Clan to walk over it, it could very easily lead to Fnatic's players on the downstairs part of this map being flushed out without much of a fight.
Let's take. We'll start on the east side this time around. Basically the same setup by the defense, just adding a couple more reinforcements downstairs so they don't have easy access to site, but still going to be playing verticality upstairs. It's very smart by the side of FaZe. That is going to be a main thing for this site, is trying to take over CEO. But they do have the castle dedicated up here as well, and Ace is actually has a mirror dedicated upstairs as well, in the hands of Virtue right now. On the dock, the man has been promoted. He's done so well on this Jaeger. Like, you know what? We're going to don you the medal of the dock. It's going to happen.
Rizraz gets the Jaeger now. He's been promoted to Jaeger in the meantime. We will see Magnet started out with yet another Nitro kill. This time taking out Astro first off. And eliminating a Zofia very early on as well. That's certainly going to hurt their direct pushing capability when it comes to later. Obviously, it's not a hard breach or anything like that. But Zofia has a lot of capability to just push a team down a map. And there we go. Virtue fighting back against Cameraman through his own hole as well.
There's one thing you got to remember as a Mav player. Those holes work 2 ways. And actually, Virtue's going to get away with that. No, he won't. He'll finally get picked up by Yuna, but Yuna's going to get taken up quite a bit. He's down to 1 HP as Rizraz still has a mirror dedicated to himself upstairs. Has not been popped by anybody on FaZe. So Rizraz will be able to maintain this upstairs hold. And this strat by them on this defense is just a masterful piece of art on this upstairs. It's very hard to hold down CEO, and they're working it masterfully. As the Buck will move in, that will be Mav. Rizraz, though, is going to time his hop with that skeleton key usage. He's going to be able to find one. We'll be able to find 2. No, Morenga will be able to put him down. They're going to have to set their sights onto the site. As Morenga and Yuna will still be upstairs. Yuna still has no HP at all, but still plenty of outliers for the defense, as Magnet is still on the hunt. Looks like their main crux of the offense is going to be on square. Seems like, actually, as soon as I say that, they really are just undecisive. Standing upstairs, see if they can get any information. Jackal Track going to come out onto Magnet. That's perfectly fine. He is the one man that's not on site. Those sight angles still going to be held fast by the defense. Magnet might get actually shot through a wall here, but no, he will rotate out just in time. Recognize how they could have dropped from that hatch. Aces, though, going to identify out there on site. Magnet going to find 1, and Magnet going to find 2. We're going to be able to see that kill cam. Fnatic coming up big once again from all of the players over on the Aussies.
Just good positioning coming in there from Magnet as well, because if you remember, he actually messed up trying to get a kill earlier on in the round when he pushed himself up the stairs from server, just couldn't line up a shot, but very obviously gave away his position. He had to completely wrap back around through downstairs to retake position over in the open area there to eventually come outside and pull off that 2K towards the end. So really great stuff and really patient play. A normal player would just obviously go right out and take a duel like that, so you got to give him respect for having the patience to actually go back and recommit to that engagement 30 or 40 seconds later down the line.
Yeah, he He really questioned if he wanted to go for that kill at first. He like stared at the back of his head. He's like, "Do I shoot? Do I want to give up my position?"
I know these pillars are gonna get in the way.
Yeah.
Should I try it
man.
anyway? And obviously, they still got in the way. But
you know, I never used to have an issue with gunfights between the little pillars inside of like staircases and stuff like that until Flynn told me that he had an issue with those gunfights, and it completely screwed me over. For the rest of my Rainbow Six playing time, I will always have an issue with those gunfights. It's not something you want to take. But Virtue and Magnet now showing up for their team respectively, getting all those kills. But that does not mean the rest of Fnatic is not doing anything, ladies and gentlemen. The amount of information game Fnatic has been playing is insanity. That is just proving how good information is in this game. You cannot be the sole gunner on the team that just runs into the building and tries to find kills. It's not going to work out. FaZe having a huge issue with these defensive setups right now, just not getting enough information on exactly how things are set up, and they're getting punished by it. They just seem like they do not know how to address anything that Fnatic is throwing at them right now.
We've got a very rare pick coming in here as now Magnet's switching up his operator once again. Virtue also doing the same, going back over to the Jaeger. Rizraz is going to pick up the Valkyrie, and Magnet, who was on the Valkyrie in the last round, has gone over to the Kapkan, an operator that is picked only 1.7% of the time.
We are going to have an update over on the B stream, ladies and gentlemen. Currently getting casted by Kickstar and Intero. Nip won map 1, 8-6 on Consulate over Rec. After yesterday, where Nip did not seem like a contender really at all against FaZe, they're going to find their first map over Rec. Rec in the hot seat right now. If they lose the next map, they are out for the rest of Invitational.
Certainly would be a disappointment for the rest of Prostitute roster, considering the hot streak that they've been on in Pro League up until they suffered their first loss. I think on one of, if not the last, NA Playday for this first half of the season. They've really been on a hot streak. And to see them go out this early would be a big disappointment. If you guys want to check out that game, wait a second.
I was waiting for you to notice.
Hold on. I thought he had the rifle.
He does not have the rifle. He has
the shotgun.
He has the sausage. That's what he has. The sausage 12.
The SASG 12 is what Kapkan is going to be utilizing. Obviously, all of the EDDs have gone down upstairs for the most part, as he tries once again to hold back the push. We've got the Montaigne moving in. He is going to be pushed outside of the steps without too much trouble, and now he's been forced into the back of the server. And we're truly going to have to see how effective this shotgun can be, because I think it's the first time I've ever seen it used in pro play.
Yeah, the sausage does not, really see the light of day ever, just due to the fact that the Russian ops, all except for Glaz, don't get used too often. And Glaz doesn't even have another weapon; he just has the OTS. But I'll tell you, the sausage is the Magnet's very good at catching grenades. I'll tell you that. Mav gonna find him. All those ADS is once again dedicated to Blue. Might have wanted to put one behind server. Minute left on the clock. Plenty of time to drain out the rest of the utility for the defense. Magnet, though, only had impact grenades, but those things used in the proper way can be little balls of death to a shield. So it is kind of a detriment. They no longer have another set of those.
Utility moving in. They do need to move it forward slightly more. Oh, they need to transfer the diffuser, excuse me, because I believe the Montaigne still had it up until that point. They've given it over to Moringa now. He was going for a planet.
Oh my god!
That's a Kobe and a half right there. We see a nice pickup from Mav, a nade of absolutely nowhere. Just deletes Rizraz, taking him out of the fight and giving FaZe a massive 5v3 advantage now. Finally, the plant coming in. We've got the Toxic Babes, though, to interrupt that and delay. And that's only the first one being used. As long as he can stay alive and in that position, they can just continue to die this all the way down to 0-0 timer.
How big is baseball in Brazil? Because that man absolutely chucked that ball, but they're going to try and snail their way in. Virtue going to come up with 2. Will he be able to come up with 3? And he will. Ace is going to find 2 with the smoke grenades. It's all down to 1. Will Astro be able to clutch up? It's so close, ladies and gentlemen. Aces and Astro! Oh my goodness! What a play! And the roster has come alive for FaZe.
What a roller coaster right there. The round flipping on its head over the course of that round about 3 or 4 times. Looks like Fnatic's going to win it. They've got the Toxic Babes they can run at the timer. No, FaZe pushes in, but they've got a player in the site. Fnatic does. They try to shut it down, and then all of a sudden Astro comes in and clutches it out of absolutely nowhere. What the heck just happened in those final 20 seconds?
Somebody give me an inhaler. My God. Astro, you absolute madman. Put the man on Zofia, ladies and gents. That is one way to turn a game around, as they will pick up their first round off the back of a well-placed flank and beautiful mechanical skill from Astro.
So as we would expect, the cap can is not going to be sticking around. It will get Six picked out over to a Pulse instead. And obviously this will prove much more useful on the basement site, especially considering that we haven't seen much innovation. Not really that you can once more from the guys on FaZe. They're still sticking with the same general strategy of just pushing in through that server room. But like I said, that's by far the most viable option for attacking this site. So it's not a surprise at all to see them sticking with that for multiple rounds. And they will probably continue to do that for this one as well. But with Magnet having control over the Pulse, he can just sit inside of gold bars, a pretty much perfectly safe position for him to sit inside of and get a great amount of intel to the rest of his teammates that are actually defending the site.
So what is the mindset of a team that just had that happen to them? I think Fnatic will be okay. They are a very, very good team. I don't think much gets to them, especially after the amount of hardships they've went through, especially with players not being able to come to lands and stuff like that. I don't think that you know, big comebacks like that really happen. They're more or less like, hey, we just really couldn't win our gunfight right there. Astro was a literal ghost. He just turned to paper thin, could not win our gunfights. But I don't think it's going to affect them too much. But a momentum shift like that at this time could bring FaZe back into this.
It helps FaZe way more than it hurts Fnatic, right? Because that was still an incredibly close round for Fnatic, and they're just going to go right back to the site. It's like, all right, guys, let's just clean it up a little, we'll do the same thing, we'll win the site, easy 4-1. But for the guys over on FaZe, it's like, oh my god, we just pulled off this amazing clutch, and considering how dire the straits have been for them up until this point, it's really just a nice way to reinvigorate themselves and get the momentum rolling a little bit back into their favor. So it doesn't necessarily hurt Fnatic, it helps FaZe a lot, though. It's a really hype moment for them, for sure.
It seems to be FaZe is going to start off things relatively the same. They're going to have Astro start up in stock and rotate his way down, stock side at least. Have him rotate himself down Yuna, going to take over blue stairs. With the rest of FaZe, is more than likely they will get the server side wall opened up once again. This time, Magnet on the Pulse. With the Nitro Cell, no more Cat Cam plays with the Sausage 12. Does not want to try and give up his life too soon this time.
Not that he really got a chance with it, to be fair. But
yeah, not really. But, you know, when there's nades about by Mav, I put the man on the Lakers. Like, my God, that man can just absolutely chuck a grenade. Morenga actually going to go for the default plant here, as Magnet will see him inch his way in. The diffuser starting to go down. First tactical, excuse me, the first smoke use will come out. Give a little bit of pause for emphasis there, you guys. Toxic babes. As Morenga will go for it once again and get smoked out.
And again, it's all going to be perfectly timed when it comes to the smokes because Magnet is sitting inside of gold bars and is providing moment-to-moment intel about when these plant attempts are happening. He's literally looking at Morenga through that wall right now. And there's nothing that FaZe can do to stop him from doing this, unfortunately, as well. It's a perfect position. They even try to see forward as well. Won't work out, though. Morenga does escape. And that was the third and final toxic wave. You notice that FaZe does this. Oh, however, they've still got this.
Oh my goodness, Magnet!
Connect as well, takes out Morenga. Astro will be there to trade moments after, though, as he takes down Rizraz. And now the plant can't necessarily be stopped here.
This is going to be the biggest thing you're going to want to pay attention to is Virtue and Aces on the rotate. Lusty going to find Mav with an impact grenade, though, and a pokeball him to death as only 3 players remain up for FaZe. Not looking too good as they will finally find another one. Lusty will go down. No health on practically anyone right now as the diffuser will get confirmed. Aces starting to rush his way down blue. Cameraman for the angle, though, and he will find Aces. He's going to get aggressive. As Magnet is actually down, it's all left up to Virtue. 1 man, 10 HP, and a dream. He's trying to ride Fnatic back into another victory on their defensive side. 3-1 again is the current scoreline, but this man is going to need to clutch up. Will he try and pick up Magnet here? That's the biggest thing. Monty's going to be able to get the information off of this. No, he's definitely not going to be able to try and pick up Magnet. Magnet is more or less just...
Oh, he's going to go for it.
He's going to go for it, but Astro going to find yet another batch of kills. I'm very interested to see how many kills Astro has at this point. I feel like this man has been really showing up for FaZe. It was Cameraman last map, and it's Astro this time around.
We really kind of needed someone from FaZe to step up as well, because a lot of this is just coming down to individual 1v1s a lot of the time. And on our first map back on Border, it was Fnatic winning that game 9 times out of 10. This time, it's a lot more even, I think. It's a lot more of a trade when it comes to who's winning the 1v1s. You know, we don't have Virtue just dominating everyone like we've seen in the past rounds and on the past map. It's much more of an even affair between the 2 teams. And that has to make Fnatic start to worry a little bit, especially since they haven't been able to really control this basement site for the 2nd time yet. They're going to attempt it now for a 3rd 3rd time in a row, because they still feel they have what they need to be able to close out on it, but it seems like FaZe is only getting better on this site, so Fnatic have to be careful not to drift too heavily into this. It's going to be their last defensive round anyway, so they just might as well attempt that same site one more time.
Well, there's been one thing that's been educational for me so far throughout Invite, it's that you do not sleep on APAC.
I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't. Like, their last couple of lands have just been so influential in how things have went throughout the rest of said tournament. It's been ridiculous. FaZe showing up the last tournament, actually knocking out Evil Geniuses with Dizzlin as a player. Just wild stuff. So, but EGE has made quite the transition since then, and so has Fnatic. As you guys can see, their info game has gotten so much better. Definitely playing things out much more appropriately, as we're going to be turning all of the walls into Swiss cheese downstairs.
Obviously, mashing up the cameras or the TVs a little bit so that he can place down his own camera. He's going to place the 3rd and final one into the inside of the garage. So the default will get popped relatively quickly, and they can obviously get a little bit more intel. And the rare chance that we see someone from FaZe push into the garage. They've been pretty much avoiding it for the most part, except for, I think, that flank batted by Astro. That incredible round that we had about 2 or 3 rounds ago.
Well, if this shows off anything, it definitely does show that Fnatic plays bank. Their defensive setups have been so good so far, and they have multiple per site. That's the biggest thing. There's a lot of teams that they're good on maps, but they only have one strat. Like, hey, this strat works. It works so well in our scrims, and then some team finds a way to counteract that, and they don't have anything else to falter back onto. There's so many adjustments that Fnatic is making on their defensive side for these setups that are really influencing this match so far. But a lot closer game right off the bat than the previous border match.
Got Astro still droning out for the rest of his teammates here. Making sure he gets the Claymore down. They do spot one of the black eye cameras, so that should be going down in just a second. That's what's sitting right up there, and that's, again, thrown down by the Valkyrie, for those of you that might be newer to Siege. Ring, in the meanwhile, is going to be grouping with the rest of his teammates as he will place the first of his dynamite charges. Texan dynamite charge, specifically on this guy, on this skin, I should say.
Love it.
Blow open the hatch that leads down into server.
Any man that sets his hands on fire for fun, just stay away from them.
Yeah.
Stay away. As the push will start to go down, they actually Swiss cheese the wall, then put the reinforcement up. This used to be a trick to actually make it to where, 2 things. 1, you couldn't put thermite charges down on it. It would actually just not go off properly. It was really weird. Or you did it for bandit tricking to where you could actually hear better because there was not another panel behind the reinforcement. But it does appear that they are going to be going for the server side wall once again, as they will try to bait out as much utility as possible. Bad news bears is, though, that there is a lot of utility by the defense to use. Plenty of nitro cells on deck, as well as toxic babes.
Pulse, though, went away again. Swapped out for the Ella, I believe. So once again, they're going to be missing that core intel. They still can easily stop these first 3 plant attempts with the Toxic Babes. They are going to have to be careful after that, as a lot of what's inside of that server will be a lot more unknown than what we had on the last one because they had the Pulse. And in fact, they just outright get off the defuse this time. It's gone down well earlier. Virtue, however, is able to take down Unit before he can escape. They've lost the advantage of the shield. A nade nearly taking out at least 1 player from Fnatic, but it misses its mark. No success found there. We've got literally everyone from Fnatic stacked inside of CCTV, but they can't seem to find impact. And here he comes again. Astro, you can see him on the left side of the screen. He's going to make that run. Right now, nobody's watching, and a double kill on the nade from Mav. And here he comes, rolling in for the shutdown. 1, and where is it? Number 2 from Astro. He shuts it down, and FaZe yet again close out on the attack with a round here in the basement.
Those late flanks by Astro are just so condemning to the other team, as they will bring it all the way back, tie things up 3-3 right now for FaZe and Fnatic, as we will be switching sides, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see if both teams are as efficient on their new sides, respectively, as they were on their old ones. Lockers CCTV room, as you do for Bank. It's really the starting site for everybody. If it doesn't go there first, then I'm kind of questioning. We have seen a couple people start off in tellers as well as archives, but yeah, no. It just depends. We actually haven't seen a teller's archives hold yet today.
No, we've not.
No, we've not. No, they went up to CEO and then they went back downstairs because it opened up the site once again.
Okay. I think you're right.
So, well, actually, no. They won 3 straight on defense.
Yeah, I think they went.
So yes, they did.
They did have 1.
Yeah, we had once. We had
I thought
one.
they did.
I was doing mental math.
You're confusing me.
I was doing mental math real quick because I was like, did they go open area? And I remember they did not.
I didn't want to conflict with you and be wrong.
No, you're good. I had the mental math. We're good. We're good.
As we take a look at the stats real quickly, it's a much different story this time. Virtue still doing well in his own regard, and that was very much the story in the last map, but now it's Astro. absolutely decimating his opponents at a 10-2 scoreline right now.
It's just those late flanks downstairs, and the main thing is they actually put a camera inside of Garage
To watch for it.
To watch for it, and nobody was on it. There was plenty of dead people to be watching cameras.
They didn't even have anyone on flank watch there. All 4 players that were alive when he pushed in, or all, I guess it was like 3 by the time he actually got to the room. All of them that were alive at that point were fully focused on servers. They were just tunnel vision on that at that point.
Pointed the finger, was like, kill them, just ran at them. That's all they did. that's really it. They tried to play their best for the retake. I thought things were going to go a little bit better after they got the Montang of Yuna killed, but after that, nothing really came of it. I mean, they just peeked into sightlines and lost their gunfights. And once again, Astro with a very late rotation that works out for him, ends up claiming another 2 lives.
So that'll tie us up. As you said, we switched halves now, so it's obviously Fnatic on the attacking side. This is where, however, they were able to really dominate back on our first map on Border. So if their attack on Bank here is going to be anything like that, then FaZe might have to start to worry a little bit. Let's take a look at this first round and decide if that is going to be the case or not first. Got them moving in for the lurk. Do find their first scan. Unfortunately, it's not anywhere close to a position where they would be able to impact on him, at least not at this point in time. So that scan probably will not yield much in terms of a kill, as that player has fallen back into a pretty safe position. Oh, never mind, actually. They do manage to find him. Nicely done. Lusty's going to be able to pick him off, as Astro as well is the one that's found this early on in the round. Lusty looking to pick up another one if it could make it a possibility. Does some good damage to Mav. Unfortunately, is just not able to finish off that kill, but still he's brought down to 50 HP and is forced to fall back. So Fnatic making very good progress in the early round.
We will see Fnatic start their take on the middle floor. Already have plenty of map control. So they start to open up a couple of sightlines just to watch for those rotations that will happen more or less later on. But Astro has already been found out, and that has been the leader, or frags at least, by FaZe. As again, those late flanks working out for him very, very well. But no late flank this time around, as life has been removed from his body. As you guys saw him laying inside of the open area, small office. But Fnatic, once again, been so good on this information game so far today, taking their time to drone out everything and make sure that they know exactly where these FaZe players are before they begin their take. Lusty on the Jackal is actually, they have left one of the walls soft. Actually, both of them soft to be exact. As Lusty will just shotgun those open, do a little bit of rework with an eye to 12.
So we're going to see Lusty start to move in just a moment here. Obviously, on the defensive side of things, we still have the smoke being played by Moringa in position to stop these first few attempts. And by few attempts, I mean literally all attempts, as they're not down to 30 seconds. They haven't even thrown their first, or they haven't even gone for their first actual attempt at a defuse plant just as of yet. Here we go. Lusty's going to crouch in. Keep in mind, they have C4s that they can potentially use to try and take him out of here as well. There's going to be the first attempt. Oh, the C4 is killed, so he's allowed to go for it. And the Toxic Babe is not on point. He's going to be able to stick to this. He'll take a lot of damage as a result of that, but he definitely can commit. And there we go. Diffuser goes down. Moringa and Rizraz will trade blows, bringing us into a 3v4. Favored for Fnatic, especially after they've fallen back and can now play a little bit more onto the hatches here as well. Virtue moving in. The counter diffuse, however, is coming up from Moringa, but it'll be stopped by Lusty as he approaches the hatch with Virtue picking up the second kill. Down to only 1 now. It's Mav against the world in a 1 versus 4. And unfortunately, does not have the engagement room that he needs. He's also considered the hatch that's been popped above him as well. That's going to serve as an immediate stoppage point for his attempt at a counter defusal. And there we go. Virtue easily knocks him out to give Fnatic their opening attacking round and the lead back as well.
Fnatic is just like an artist of the information game. They set everything up slowly, like, okay, we got control of open area, we've got our hatches open, we're gonna move our people inside of server, we got that wall open, okay? All right, so here's the plan, okay? We're gonna have Rizraz stay on top of main stairs, wait until we throw the Thatcher and do the plant at the exact same time to counter the sound of me opening up the briefcase. And right when they identify out that the defuse is going down, Rizraz pushes, gets a frag, and then immediately hauls butt back up to open area to hold the diffuser. Fnatic is looking so good on their executions right now. It's insane.
Incredibly smart stuff that's coming out from Fnatic. And if this carries through into further rounds, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And it is going to allow them to do that same type of execute if they'd like to do it once again. Now, obviously, the trick has been thrown out, as you were saying, with the thermite grenade that was tossed in. Or not the thermite grenade, excuse me, the Thatcher grenade that was tossed in. So if they do that again, hopefully, we would assume that the guys from FaZe would have caught on to that, but there's no guarantee. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, it goes like child crying, plane taking off, then spaceship, then the sound of a Thatcher grenade going off. That's how it goes. The thing is ridiculously loud. Like, there's been multiple clutches inside of Pro League, Challenger League, every type of league that there is that has been a Thatcher that masks his movement with the sound of EMPs. They're not only for getting rid of electronics, ladies and gentlemen. That wasn't the factor that he was trying to do there. He might have actually, honestly, that might have been a play where he was trying to bait out the nitro cell midair. I've actually seen that used before because you can't actually pop a nitro cell with EMPs midair. So if he tosses it right when the EMP goes out and the EMP catches it, because it's I believe now it's 8 meters, I believe. So if it catches it with inside that radius, the nitro cell gets just completely killed in midair. So kind of a two-pronged thing.
It's usually pretty easy to time it too, because it's almost always like an as soon as you open the case, it's almost always like an instantaneous attempt to defuse.
Yeah. So kind of a
to kill, I should say.
Multiple-pronged attack there.
Very well done by the guys on Fnatic. Certainly bringing some stuff to the table, despite the fact that this map was a bit of a strange one for them when you look at their history. But they certainly showed us that they very much prepared to play on this one, and that means that other teams are going to have to be ready to play them on it too if they've added Bank into their pool. We've got Fnatic taking a direct route through the upstairs this time. Once again, just wanting to clear things out to make sure there's no roaming presence to deal with, and they did that very easily last time. They were able to take one down outright that tried to hide inside of the teller's area, was knocked out through the floorboards up on top. And then the only other, I think, roaming presence they had immediately fell back when the first one had gone down in the early rounds. So FaZe Clan, for the early game, or for the early rounds here, their roaming capability, for the most part, unfortunately, just has been non-existent here.
And this is the hatch trick that I was going to be talking about, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to do it a little bit differently here. He's actually going to cut out all the edges. But if you actually do 2 lines on one side, then cut one edge, it will actually break open the hatch. So he's going to waste a little bit more fuel here,
There it is.
as he will waste just under 2 tanks. He's going to actually burn that off for some reason. But, okay. Oh, he's going to make a murder hole right here for himself so he can actually watch down into Red Hall. Very smart play by Magnet. This man always has a couple of tricks up his sleeve with his operator usage.
He's going to get some help in trying to push down that primary hatch. We've got Thermite bursting open the only other hatch that they're really going to need to access at this point, which will be the one inside of Server. And off of that, Virtue, well, he'll just be able to continue his run on the Thatcher all the way downstairs. They take very quick positioning on the inside of Server to set themselves up. They still have just over a minute remaining, too. The Thermite should be popping open the default wall right now. There it is. Virtue will just quickly move in to drone things out and establish a good drone position for later on in the round, especially in the post plant, so they don't have that second wall breach, nor do they have the capability to breach it. Here we go. Here's the grenade pop again. It's going to mask the sound. They mistimed it, I believe, though, so they cancel it pretty quickly and fall back.
We'll be taking a short pause after this round due to the fact that Mav has disconnected. So we will get that fixed, but 35 seconds still left in this round. Plenty of utility still to be burnt as Mav has prepped, ripped that tape off the nitro cell, and is lying in wait for somebody to be foolish enough to try and go for a plant. So the plant will try to go down now, but Rizra is going to get a little bit too aggressive, and that nitro cell is going to make connection, and is going to pick up 2 aces, and Virtue going to go down. Magnet all alone downstairs right now as he's trying to hunt for kills. Lusty going to find Astro. It's all left up to the 2 Aussies up against the Brazilians. Yuna gonna find one, gonna knock it down. 2 just Lusty, and Yuna gonna find yet another as FaZe Clan will find their first defensive round.
They start to bring it back a little bit here as they finally pick up their basement round into their favor. Not only that, but consider again that the immediate counter came in from FaZe to the very creative plan that we were seeing from the guys on Fnatic, trying to use that Thatcher grenade for a second time. I think mistiming it the first time since they didn't actually bait out the nitro cell appropriately. Then when that nitro cell finally comes in, Thatcher's inside, he's right next to it, so unfortunately gives himself away. It has the opposite effect, and it really ends up messing them up more than it helps them in that situation, and as such, we see both of them ending up getting taken down by the nitro cell when it was finally thrown by the Mira.
Yeah, just not really enough time in order to bait out the utility they really wanted to get rid of. And I think the biggest thing is they really didn't have any soft destruction down there with them to try and open that soft wall. They didn't have anybody there to really break down the wall for them. So Lusty wasn't down there to shotgun open the wall, and they're like, okay, I guess we're going to have to move in through the door. So they tried to move in through the door to no avail. They try to stick the plant. Nitro Cell finds both of them, which really wasn't the luckiest thing to happen. But, I mean, they got a little bit of luck granted to them, too, with that disconnection of Mav. Or, excuse me, with that disconnection of Cameraman. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing right now. They basically got a free pick, and they still lost the round.
Well, similarly to what we saw after we were able to catch the Fnatic guys, able to close out their basement site, it is looking like, in its current form anyway, I'm unsure if that's what they're going to stick with, I'm just going off what's on the screen right now, it's looking like that FaZe are also going to transition to the upstairs site immediately after finally taking control of the basement as well. So a little bit more of an open plan, a little bit harder to defend as well, depending on your opinion on that matter. We'll have to see how well they fare for it once we are unpaused. As if you didn't notice, we did have a player disconnect there for a moment, so we are just working on getting him back in so we can resume the game.
Yeah, open floor plans have become a big deal, you know, in this decade. Everybody's house is open floor plan. So it's bringing that into bank a little bit. But again, as we talked about earlier, lounge and CEO office is the site that requires a very fine comb to go over. You really have to worry about your north windows as well as those lobby windows. There's so many angles that you can get shot from. It's almost ridiculous. And the main thing for me was when Fnatic defended, they did not reinforce the hallway. That's usually a standard thing that you do when you hold down this site is you reinforce the hallway so they can't get any free information off of the lobby windows. They didn't do that, still won it, and literally, excuse me, I said Lusty, Virtue literally played inside of the elevator the entire time. The man did not move from the same spot and got 3 kills.
Still finding that massive impact. To see if he can do it on the attacking side here too. He's really actually come back into the fold. It's really just become the story of Virtue versus Astro on the stat board now, hasn't it? With Mav and Magnet, you're acting as your supporting cast, I suppose.
Yeah, Rizraz kind of falling by the wayside. He did come up big on that one, on that first take downstairs where he did have the late flank and actually picked up a frag with his pistol. But besides that, really haven't seen too much of him so far.
Not too much just as of yet. Starting out this next round, this will be FaZe's second site they'll play onto. They did have to play through the basement site 2 times in a row due to Fnatic winning that initial site. That's why we are now tied. Remember, guys, due to the new format is 7 rounds that are needed to win, so both teams are 3 away from it. If they end up both going 6-6, that'll trigger our overtime functionality, where 3 additional rounds will be played out. The team, excuse me, that wins 2 out of 3 of those rounds will be the winner of the map.
Fnatic will begin their take, recognizing now that the site is upstairs this time around. Rizraz looks like he wants to play on these north windows, as he will whip out his detector on his wrist. A little bit of ice on the wrist. So he will start to take out a couple of cameras inside, just trying to get rid of all the information that could possibly be had for the defense. And that, again, is going to be the main game for the offense, is trying to pull away as much initial info from the defense. Because that has really been the killer of this entire LAN, is just how much information the defense can get and how well they can play off of it. Especially when you have those insane fraggers on the defense like Astra right now. You feed the man information, he will find you kills. So, definitely a key point to be noted. As Aces will go for the right side wall instead of the skylight stairwell over here on the east side of the map. Clash is going to move up. It's going to be Yuna on the shield once again.
Talk much about the inclusion of Clash here.
Oh, no.
Great distraction, if anything, there, as we do see Astra able to run out, deleting Virtue along the way, despite Virtue seeming to have his number. Certainly ended up being the case.
They actually downed him, I believe.
I did, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, he managed to get Astra down. So at this point, he's crawling back in and just got rezzed back up. So succeeded in finding the knockdown. Apologies for missing that, but unable to actually finish off the kills. He also ended up getting killed at the same time. So Astro gets revived, more than likely by Yuna. He'll be brought back into the fold. Nice find by Rizraz, though. Really just the timing of it works out into his favor as he manages to catch Mav on a rotate.
They're doing a very good job of splitting up this push right now. Typically, it is a very hard thing to do, achieve with your team, but Fnatic has been doing a fantastic job of it so far. Again, this team play that they've had, this team dynamic of Fnatic knows no bounds. As Yuna's going to catch a couple of bullets to his ankle. Going to be very hard to walk with that amount of lead inside of your foot. Going to be a very heavy foot after that. Magnet going to make a hole. He's going to find the immediate head of Astro. Hello, hi, yes, I can melt walls. I can melt walls with my torch. I'm going to be able to find that. And that's going to be Clash going down as well. Yuna will get found out. Cameraman going to initially refrag that. Rocking down a beautiful Immortal skin. But I don't think it's going to get him too much farther. He is basically locked down inside of the janitorial closet, and he almost gets found by Magnet. Magnet's worked his way all the way up inside of the site, as Aces will get consistently pinged. Morenga going to find him. 2v2 situation now as Rizraz will move himself up inside of site as well. 18 seconds left on the clock. They know someone is down behind the desk. Will he be able to win this fight? Magnet going to bullet trail him. Nothing's going to be found. Rizraz doesn't even know he's there. He's going to get found by the M590. He's actually going to get down. He's going to go for the pickup right now as he goes for the diffuser.
Tries to go for the plant, but Cameraman
oh
tries to be able to trade it back, but no, it doesn't work out. So FaZe Clan win it again on the timer, coming down to the wire once more, and a very crazy exchange at the end of it. As we did see a questionable choice there to try and get the second teammate of Fnatic back up and into the fight, which unfortunately ended up making a difference. He did, however, need that extra teammate to be able to go for the plant, and he had the time to do it, so it makes sense. Just a massive risk he took, which unfortunately did not end up paying out.
Yeah, very split-second decision there for a second. I thought that the smoke would be able to call that out in time to where he just get traded right off the top of the body. But it's basically like, I get knocked down, but I get up again, but then I get knocked down again and I die. So just really did not work out for FaZe right there. Oh, excuse me, did not really work out for Fnatic right there. But FaZe will take the lead for the first time in this entire matchup, as they will be leading 5-4 currently on their respective map, Bank.
So obviously the guys over here on Fnatic running into a little bit of an issue finally on their attacking side. It's really coming down to those final moments, however, just push themselves onto a site. They are having issues with their actual attacking, with their actual breach, with their actual final push into the site is becoming the problem. Not necessarily the early run. They're still able to control the situation very well and get good amounts of map control, along with dealing with the roamers that seem to be present to a much lesser extent on FaZe in this map than we were seeing at the beginning of our last map. I think that's due to the fact of how strong Fnatic's attack has been. But either way, Fnatic is able to get to the site easily. It's actually getting onto it that seems to be a problem for them. It has remained an issue now on multiple sites.
Teller's Archives will be the play for FaZe, as once again we are going to be seeing an upstairs hold this time. Castle will be allocated as well. And the mirror, we'll see if Yuna is going to try and place that mirror in the exact same location as what we had previously by Fnatic. That strat, definitely useful. Definitely useful. I like the way that they set up this upstairs so that where it's very hard to try and take control of that main room. They kind of just bunkered down inside of the main room with the couches upstairs right off the CEO office. And it's worked out beautifully. I mean, FaZe really had no idea what to do against it, even though it does appear that they basically set up everything the exact same way, which is kind of baffling to me. Why would you not know how to play into your own strat?
It's a little bit strange to be sure. We have the players from Fnatic getting ready to move themselves in now. Looks like they're going to prioritize second floor control as you would generally expect on this site. Gives you more room to abuse the players that are defending the downstairs site through the floorboards, since there is a decent amount of destruction that is usable from that point of view. We've got Lusty onto the inside. The two other teammates that are here on this side of the map are going to be moving in a moment, but it's Astro again off to a hot start, finding Rizraz early on and eliminating the IQ. While she is either on rappel or roaming around those windows just outside of the building.
Ace is working the east side of the map now over here in Skylight, as he will try and burn any ADS's. Magnet going to make a very small murder hole over here as well, as he's trying to find any information that he can possibly get on site. They have control of Skylight, and that is going to be the main key to taking this upstairs once again. Magnet is going to be continuously making little rotates, and he's actually going to end up downing Astro in the process, and will be able to confirm the kill. Going to shoot him right in the angle, but a well-placed nitro cell by Mav will be able to pick up Virtue, and once again, Virtue not going to have any effect on this round. Already 2 attackers down for the offense. This is not looking too good for Fnatic. They have to try and crawl back from this deficit that might be fleeting.
Again, Fnatic trying to speed things up in their attack as a result of the issues they've had with getting on a site, but that issue is still there. They're still having that core problem. It doesn't matter the timer here. It's actually getting the kills to get themselves into the site that is the problem. It's once again rearing its ugly head. Magnet, of course, with the correction. Hello! As we're going to see Magnet leap down a brutal spray to knock out Mav. Very well played by him. And just like that, we are even into a 2v2.
Hi, how are you? And they will have complete control of the upstairs now. Last 2 defenders will be on site. It's Morenga, it's Yuna. And the main 2 that will be played inside has those anchor ops, Smoke and Mira, respectively. So Aces and Magnet will have to try and find a way inside. It appears that Magnet is just going to make a crawl hole over here on the side. This is something specifically that Maverick is so good at and is damn near silent. He is just going to walk in. As I don't believe they know that he's actually in sight, as he's going to pre-fire, and they're definitely going to be able to identify out now. The smoke grenade's not going to make any contact, though. That means Diffuser will be able to go down. Smoke's going to go down, but Yuna's going to be able to stay alive. Magnet's going to put a couple bolts into him, and actually they're not going to do any damage. The dead body of Morenga going to be able to do enough to where he will not be able to be stopped, and he might actually be able to stick it here. He's actually going to hop off as soon as he hears Ace's footsteps, but he doesn't know exactly where Aces is. Ace is going to play the tight angle. We'll be able to win the gunfight. That Vector, a very dangerous gun to fight against, but Aces will be able to find it, ladies and gentlemen, and we're tied up once again.
very, very well played by the folks there over on Fnatic to bring it back at the end.
Crazy round there for Fnatic. What a clutch up by the last two operators. Insane play coming out from the Thermite main.
Definitely the case. Just a last-ditch decision to breach the inside. That one wall that had been left soft allows them in on the Maverick and opens up a very, very small plant opportunity that, as you mentioned, their smoke, Moringa, could not stop in that instance. As a result, it goes off without a hitch. We have the very awkward 1v1 exchange that brings it down to a 1v1 at the end. But then, of course, it's a closeout from Fnatic once again, as we are able to see Aces hold inside of the open office, be able to shut down the Valkyrie.
The only thing Moringa stopped was more bullets from hitting his teammate that Magnet was throwing at him. That was really about it. I mean, anything besides that, Yuna's more than likely dead, because that rifle of magnets on that Maverick is just so damaging. It's insane.
Bomb located by attack.
We have seen, of course, the basement be re-unlocked now for use by FaZe Clan on their defense, since it has been the adequate number of rounds since they last won it, so they will choose to go down here again. Obviously presenting itself as a much easier site to defend compared to the other three options that are available. They will choose to head right back to this site at the first opportunity. Give it to them, as they need to push ahead now and try to hold their lead at 6-5 so that they can at least guarantee overtime, if not the outright win, by following this round through with another one.
I've never really thought of this before, but I wonder if caliber-based destruction actually plays into bodies. Because there has been instances of headshots that go through walls as well and kill another person behind them. We actually had that in the EG match with Listrian. But I wonder if that is just on the smaller caliber bullets, if just a body shot doesn't go through and into the other person. That might, I was thinking it over in my mind after I said that. I was like, I wonder if caliber-based destruction doesn't actually apply to bodies as well.
That would be a question for the developers.
Yeah.
Which thankfully I think there's a few of them here.
Yeah, we might have to talk to them later.
You wanted to ask them that a little bit.
Soon TM, guys. Soon TM.
I mean, it would make sense, right, when you consider how the rest of the system works. And it's mainly applied to like walls and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Three armors take more caliber-based destruction.
See, now you're going crazy with that.
Hey, this is
now you're really going deep with this theory. It's a very good theory, though. I'd actually like to know the answer myself.
I'd love to ask that later, but we are in round number 11 now, guys, and this has been an absolute heater of a bank match, as we will be heading back downstairs. Virtue really hasn't had much presence ever since his last map. He's had a little bit here, had a couple of clutches, especially on the defensive side. His rotates were very good. They're going to burn all the ADSs, but that frag grenade not going to find any damage on any defensive operator playing downstairs. It will be the Jaeger of Astra, as it will aim to blow open the hatch of Skylight Stairwell. As well as you guys saw Magnet over inside of the open area, burning open those hatches as well. So he can keep his main sightlines. What a flick from Rizraz as Astro will hit the deck, but not in a good way.
And again, that's Astro, the most pivotal player so far for FaZe in this map specifically. He's going to get knocked out very early on into the round. C4 going to be tossed out. It's a perfect throw against Rizraz. They knew he was going to push following that up, so they're able to easily eliminate him. Problem is, they weren't aware that Virtue was also going to be on the inside here, so Mav gets traded out just seconds later, bringing us into a 3v4. It's still favored by a one-man advantage to Fnatic.
Magnet loves making these little holes up here inside the red hallway to try and cut off the rotations. It seems like things are going to start popping off right about now. Lusty holding an angle down into red, as well as Magnet holding his main hatch as usual. So he will drop stuns inside of Red Hall for this plant to start going off. But it doesn't seem like they want to go for the execution just yet. All three of the remaining operators downstairs for the defense. That Nitro Cell pre-prepped in the hands of Cameraman as the diffuser will get started. Tactical. Excuse me.
I think they're stealing Astra's plan, because I think they've got Map. Yep. Here. This is way earlier than we saw in the case of Astra, though. So I'm very questionable of how effective this is going to be.
Oh, they're actually holding it as well. Yuna is.
I feel like this is going to work out too well, but we'll see. This is pivotal here. They're also trying to use it before the execute even happens, whereas FaZe would have used it afterwards. Virtue with a nice nade knocks out Moringa. A nice find from Magnet as well. That's opening up the plant opportunity. It's going down now. It's too much of a distraction, if anything. Problem is, another C4 moves in, is going to be able to knock out Aces just before he's able to fall back. He's going into the down state. However, a res might be possible depending on where he's located, as I'm unsure of that currently. It's well far away, it seems like, from Virtue. The only other player left alive for Fnatic right now, however, so he'll stay down for the time being. But as you can see, FaZe are panicking. Yuna trying to close this down. He won't be able to do it. Virtue shuts it out for Fnatic, and they find yet another round.
Fnatic 1 round away from sending FaZe to the lower bracket for the first time at Invitationals. This is FaZe might be looking to either fight back or having to fight back later on tomorrow, the lower bracket stage, which is not exactly what they want to do. This is their map, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This is FaZe's map. If you didn't know, Fnatic actually banned this map out 5 times in the regular season. So definitely showing up on a map that they don't traditionally play.
All right, guys, we have another update, by the way, on the match that we have going on over on our B stream, where you managed to see Reciprocity take control of map number 2, winning it actually 7-0 versus NIP. So they are currently going to map 3, and that, once again, ladies and gentlemen, is over on our Bravo stream at twitch.tv/Rainbow6. Again, the number 6 Bravo.
And right now, this is do or die for the boys of FaZe. That last round slipping away from them a little bit. Magnet, I didn't think it was going to work. I did not think it was going to work, but the man finds the most impactful kill of the entire round onto Valkyrie in the red hallway. Completely turns around a round for FaZe.
You could hear my own disappointment with this flank as well. I was like, this isn't really gonna work.
It was so early.
I don't know if he's gonna find anything, and then he does it anyway. It's definitely messy, that's for sure. It's not nearly as clean as the Astro flank. However, still acts as a distraction, which is exactly what they needed, because they were struggling to push inside of either doorway or even get their thermite charge off.
I think the biggest thing is there was only 28 seconds left. We're like, oh, it's too early, because literally Astro was pushing at like 8 seconds. There was 8 seconds left. This man just dawns the door of garage. Like, absolute insanity by that man. But cameraman is going to place another Valkyrie camera inside of the garage, prepping for another late flank. This is going to be the 3rd time that they have played this site, ladies and gentlemen.
3rd time.
Oscar the Charm?
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah. I thought. Sorry. No, it's okay. I just wasn't expecting that.
He's gonna choke me out in my sleep later, ladies and gents. It's gonna happen.
No, but we will see FaZe Clan, of course, as you were mentioning, attempting this site for their 3rd time, and hopefully, as you mentioned, 3rd time will be the charm for them. Technically, the 1st time is also the charm as well. They were able to take that, but now Fnatic is also looking to charm their way into the playoffs if they're able to shut down this last final round and take out FaZe Clan, sending them into the lower bracket and sending Fnatic into the playoff bracket.
Fnatic has had quite a run so far this Invitational. They look so good right now. Just their information game. I know I keep harping on it. I know I do. But it is very hard to get your team down to where information gets fed so fluently and you execute so well. It's a very hard thing to pull off, but Fnatic has continued to use these very intricate ways of executing onto site. It's worked out beautifully.
Got the drone action going on early on here for Fnatic, as they're just once again going to go through that same route, take control of square, pop these hatches, then slowly move your way down the server steps. Same way this round usually ends up playing out, and I see no reason why this one would be any different. However, the Mav flank from Magnet, there's a large possibility that we would see that happen again, given what it did in the last one, especially if they can make use of it earlier on and actually split the defenses when they're trying to push in. I feel like it could also have effectiveness there, even if it's done at a much earlier point in the round. Obviously, he's going to have to be very careful with how he handles that aggression, as he could very easily find himself eliminated if they decide to fully focus on him. Still, properly pushed aggression just might be what's needed to open up a hole for Fnatic to find a plan.
Watching over the exact same round, practically, as you will see Magnet burn the ADS inside of the hallway. Stun grenades now starting to come out from Aces as well. Just trying to get as much utility usage onto site as possible, trying to get them to burn out these toxic babes. Now, main thing here for Fnatic is do not get overzealous. You do not want to get too confident to the point that you overplay. You do not want to overextend your team. You want to play for the plant, just like you've done these last couple of rounds. As soon as you get that off, get those frags going, as they will pop. I believe the last toxic babe right now, 18 seconds left on the clock. His nitro cells will be the biggest thing right now, but Magnet's going to be able to find Cameraman. There's only going to be 2 nitro cells left. It's going to be Yuna as well as Mav, and Rizraz as well as Magnet are going to have to try and find these operators.
Well, it's not going to work out too well, though, because they're executing at too low of a time. They'll get themselves to the inside. Astro's already with 2, a third, and Moringa picks up the final kill. FaZe Clan shut it down and send us into overtime.
Would you have it any other way?
No.
I mean, really? Really, yeah. What a way to start the day. Honestly, I was kind of scared initially on border. I was like, oh, come on. Like, Ace was so far ahead yesterday, and we're going to do it again? No, no, not again. Oh, man. But overtime for our second match of the day. And if there's 2 things that are a takeaway from this, FaZe and Fnatic can both play Bank very well. And secondly, FaZe is not afraid of a comeback.
We knew that to be the case for FaZe already. Obviously, they have a pretty good record on this map, actually. But for Fnatic, it was a map that they had, for the most part, banned out entirely. 5 bans in recent history for them. Only one other map has more bans than that in Fnatic's pool, and that would have been Villa at 6 bans. So definitely one that they generally have been avoiding up until this event. They brought it into the play now, but the problem is, because it's also a strong map for FaZe, they really had to go the distance with it, including into OT, where once again, we've got 2 strong leaders on either team. It's Magnet and Virtue for Fnatic. On the FaZe side, we have Astro, another player as well. Also into the double digits at this point. Matt, thank you.
Definitely showing out for both of their teams respectively. And it looks like FaZe is going to be confident in the basement hold once again. This will be 4 times that they have played this site so far on Bank. So definitely going to be their most prominent hold. You know, later on, if this doesn't work out, this is definitely going to be something they look back on and go, we might have wanted to go somewhere else. But they do have 2 defensive rounds. Again, we are not on the infinite overtime rules just yet. That's not until main stage. But right now, it is more or less one person will get 2 defensive rounds, the other one will get 2 offensive rounds. So it just works out on who gets what.
So it's putting pressure on to Fnatic to be able to close this down here and win at least 1 of their 2 attacking rounds that they're going to have to go for here. For FaZe, obviously, especially assuming if they are able to hold the basement, they're going to be feeling much better off as they'll get that early lead for themselves and the potential to push this to something like an 8-7. Even if they end up losing their 1 attacking round coming up after this. Slow start again, though, for Fnatic. As we've kind of come to expect, they're not going to be too scared to move in and take the upstairs control, since there's very little reason to suspect there would be much action here from FaZe. Besides maybe 1 to 2 roamers, so they're just going to be careful to make sure they drone it out before moving in, but they will indeed take control of that and the first floor relatively quickly.
We actually had a shift over to Adokabi inside of Fnatic. A little bit more help on the site execute. She's going to be able to provide logic bombs, which rings everybody's phones for an endless amount of time until you answer. You have to answer Adokabi's call.
I like this decision too, because it definitely seems like there was some issues with Fnatic of actually trying to figure out where the last few players for FaZe Clan were, especially inside of the hall, especially inside of the middle hallway between the 2 sites that leads up to gold bars. That's really been the struggle point for Fnatic, is being able to knock those players that are holding in there out. And I think that the Magnet flank, if we see that again, in addition to the Dokkaebi active, is certainly going to help that case to a pretty large degree. See, this is where he would start the run towards the flank now, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do now that he's popped up in the second hatch.
Well, yet another thing, they are just taking their time trying to see if FaZe has made any adjustments on their end of things, but they really haven't. Things seem to be more of just the same. Mav is going to pick up the pulse once again. They did adjust him off for just a little bit on this downstairs site, but they were going to bring it back. They had him in the last round. The round that they actually lost was the round that they didn't have the pulse, so definitely something that they want to keep up, just due to the fact that he has that instant information where they are. Smoke grenade. And Brizraz actually thought that smoke grenade got ADS, but was actually something else. Nade going to come out. It's actually going to find Cameraman. That's going to be the Valkyrie. No more Nitro Cell on her, but I believe it was actually her Nitro Cell that was used. And I believe that the nade might have just caught. Speaking of catching, Mav going to go down vertical. Excuse me, Virtue going to be able to find him as well as another down. Yuna's going to be able to get picked back up, though. It's Moringa. It's quite a bit of damage done to him as well. Virtue going to try and end his life as Diffuser will go down. And Lusty working his way to the back. He's taking his time. He's going to be able to find his initial kill. Moringa going to go down as it is now a 2v5. Yuna going to get found by Magnet. It's all left up to Astro on the flank. He's locked down on square stairs. And Magnet will be able to clean that one up, as they are once again staring down the barrel of match point. FaZe has to win 2 rounds in a row to bring this back.
What a nice adjustment there from Fnatic as well. The quick switch over to the Dokkaebi, as well as just the general strategy switch from them, worked out pretty much flawless. It was night and day difference, but they were really struggling just to get to the inside of CCTV in previous rounds. That time, the nades and the overall fragging power they find early on works as a great distraction, and they were able to push right in and get the plant because the smoke was distracted trying to res a teammate.
I think the biggest thing right there is that they didn't push Garage for the flank.
Yeah,
they didn't. They launched a logic bomb. They launched the logic bomb and they pushed down main stairs because they can't hear when that logic bomb's going off. It is so loud, so ridiculously loud. So just walks down main stairs as Lusty and is able to pick up basically the rest of people on site, all except for one. So very smart adjustment by Fnatic.
And it looks like we are going to see the Mavericks still remain in play on the attacking side as well, in addition to the usual lineup of operators that we have had. FaZe.
Going to be going to the middle site, which was Fnatic's last played site with their defense. This is the one that got played lastly in their rotation. They went downstairs, and then went upstairs to CEO. Riz is going to catch a couple of bullets by Magnet, but not much really shake your head out. They do have a dock, so they're more than likely going to dock him up, just because they don't want him to have a bullets worth of damage gone, especially when Riz has been taking so many gunfights, so you're more than likely going to see him docked. But the main thing here is that they're going to want to be taking upstairs, but last time they had so much trouble with it. I believe that's exactly why the call was for the upstairs hold on this site.
They will once again put most of their pressure on the upstairs portion of the map right here to try and hold off against the push from FaZe Clan, and most importantly, prevent the floor from being breached open and just making it a very stressful time for Fnatic downstairs in the actual site. They can waste time once again as well. It's only going to further their goals. Remember, Fnatic now on match point to be able to shut this one down. And it is the match point for the best of 3 as well, with Fnatic already leading in this series 1-0 by taking control of border previously.
FaZe really trying to work their way into redemption territory, but again, it's going to be a long road. These are going to be 2 very hard-fought rounds, both mentally and physically. This is a time where that stress will hit those players, something not talked about too often. Mental fortitude is where things are really going to shine here. It's going to have to take pretty big play from someone to bring everybody on board. Definitely pay attention to Yuna for that one.
Again, we can see so many members of FaZe Clan trying to see if they can pick something up on a rappel or from the adjacent building in the early portion of the round, but at the moment, not finding much. Cameraman has popped open the hole, but Magnet got a little present for Cameraman. Shuts him down with a C4. FaZe Clan, though, will sneak in. Yuna specifically will activate the Adrenal Surge, picks up 1.5 kills. He's got another one down right now. This wasn't able to finish.
Oh, but the dark
returns it, however, and then not only that, but he's going to be able to now save his teammate, potentially. Mav, though, moves in with the trade, takes him down. And as we saw, it was the dock that was dropped, so he was able to res himself to be able to return the favor against Yuna. Now we're down into a 3v3, but 1.5 minutes left still leaves plenty of room for FaZe Clan to take this slowly and still lead into a normal execute.
Things ramped up so quickly there for a second, just instantaneous trades, and what a play by Virtue, instantaneously spamming that utility button, trying to get up as fast as possible, knew that Yuna was going to try and hunt him down, and he's going to be able to stop him in his tracks. Now, this is where verticality is going to come out, and yet another Nitro Cell! Mav is going to go down. He will be at 50 HP for the rest of this time, and there's no more Nitro Cells for the defense. Lusty has no impact grenades to chop plant either, just in case they do try to get that diffuser down. But right now, it's going to be played through these vertical angles, trying to see if any of the defenders are, you know, want to peek. That's a bit. That's really it.
Nowhere's safe for FaZe right now.
Yeah,
step in the wrong spot and it blows up. And they got to be really careful about how they move forward in the future. But obviously, as you were mentioning, the Nitro Cells are now gone. Fnatic don't have that capability anymore to try and knock anyone from FaZe Clan. And what a drop from Mav. Catches Aces completely off guard, taking him down and giving FaZe Clan back the man advantage. Moringa on site, going for the diffuser plant now with plenty of extra time left over as well. It's going to go down without much contention. Magnet trying to work his way around. A flashbang will be affecting him, though, forcing him back to reposition once again. It's only going to be a moment. I think he's also waiting for Lusty to get into a good position at this point, if it is possible. Magnet, though, has also been stunned out. He's going to have to hold back. The Zofia charges are affecting him pretty heavily at this point. He's sitting back. We've almost lost about half the time, but now Lusty's moving in from the other side. Starts it off by picking up Mav, looking for the second, but no. Astro instead will be able to find Magnet. Lusty looking for the trade back as they brought it into a 1v2. Remember, Lusty's alone. He doesn't have a whole lot of time to play off fire. The crossfire from FaZe, though, is too strong. So we go the distance all the way to the final possible round of this map to decide who our winner will be.
It's going to take 15 rounds on Bank, ladies and gentlemen. Get those FaZe Clans hype, Fnatic hype up in that chat, as we are going to be going the distance. Possible map 3, our possible lower bracket entry for FaZe. Nothing to turn your nose up to, and what a game on Bank we've had so far. What a round, by the way. Oh my goodness.
What a series so far we've had with these two teams. We knew it was going to be close. That's definitely proven true so far here. It's definitely been a very exciting series to watch just by watching some of these individual storylines develop over the course of it. But obviously, the sides have switched one more time. FaZe Clan gets to go back onto defense. Fnatic will take on the attack.
And they're going to go back downstairs to Locker's CCTV room, which, as you guys saw the last time, did not work out for them. But did make a shift over to one specific operator. That's going to be the Mute. Reasoning that they did bring Mute is they thought to themselves, you know what counters Dokkaebi? It's going to be Mute. But, thankful for them, there is no Dokkaebi on the offense. They went back to the original lineup, Thermite, Jackal, Maverick, Buck, and Thatcher for the offenders this time around. But doesn't mean it can't work. It's worked in the past. This has been the most heavily contested site between these two teams, and it's only right that we're going to end it here.
It's been very back and forth, too. There's been plenty of rounds that FaZe has won on the defense, same with Fnatic. There's also been plenty of rounds that either team has won on the attack, too. It's actually been a very hotly contested site. What's up?
Update. Rec 1 Map 2 on Clubhouse, 7-0 versus NIP. You did? Oh, I apologize. I apologize.
Sorry.
I apologize. It's all
I didn't want to call you out there.
No, you're good. No. I needed to know that.
So I was looking at my watch.
Oh my, yeah. Well, I was so distracted.
You were making fun of me.
My watch.
You were imitating me. I was actually giving the stream info.
That's crazy, though. That's insane,
yeah.
Especially on Clubhouse. That's wild. You won all of your offensive rounds? Well, they probably just won 6 straight defenses and then 1 offense.
Rec definitely seems to have woken up, that's for sure. So that series is going to be coming to its conclusion relatively soon as well. We definitely want to have you guys stick around for the rest of this match, but it's only got 1 more round left, at least in this map. So definitely be sure to either keep that second stream open another tab or get ready to jump over there soon, as that's also, from what we've been hearing, a very exciting matchup.
The boys of Fnatic doing their usual rundown of the map. They've been so good at this so far on this site. I mean, it's, you know, measure twice, cut once on all of their attacks so far on the downstairs locker site. This is Magnet will start to get these hatches open, just getting his drone replaced just so no one tries to come up and shoot him in the side of his head while he's torching open hatches.
Well, we are going to see, as you'd expect, the majority of Fnatic getting themselves ready to push down the server stairs, or at least pop up the hatch relatively soon. The defense from FaZe will, again, as expected, be focused primarily on that site. Not too much in the way of roaming presence here, just due to how difficult it is to pull that back later on in the round. Instead, it's much more of a focus on just defending the actual basement itself, and that holds true for, I believe, all 5 players on FaZe. Not a single one roaming upstairs right now.
We are barreling down on time. 1 minute and 15 seconds remain on the clock as we will hear the telltale sign of a thermite charge going off. As it will knock open the server side wall. Patches have all been taken over, and a soft wall has been Swiss cheese over on the other end of the A site. As Magnet will once again more than likely be burning ADS's Virtue. Gonna go for a nade. Will that nade make any contact? No, it won't.
They've started to position themselves so they can avoid or get out of there a little bit more easily too, since this has been like the constant X factor for how Fnatic gets into the site is a well-placed frag grenade. It's going to move in, and again, I think it'll be out of position or it will just get eaten up by an ADS. As such, no success found by the Bucket this time. We'll have to wait for a peek. He's not getting that either. Time is very quickly becoming the enemy of Fnatic here as they're getting down to it. A little bit less time left for these guys to push in, and the defenders as well. The other problem is, you just heard it go off, is going to be those smoke charges. Still 3 of them remaining. Hasn't been pressured at all. Fnatic have really lost the plot here, as now the question is, what are they going to do about this? They're trying to sit back, they're trying to think what they can do, and really the only answer is to try and force themselves into the site, but it is not going to work at all. Virtue so far finding the only kill. Besides that, it is all FaZe all day. 3 from Astro specifically before he finally gets traded up by Lusty, and then Moringa shuts it down as we see FaZe Clan tie it up at 1-1, sending us to a 3rd and final map on Clubhouse.
Speaking of Clubhouse, it's going to show its face. FaZe on Bank, looking so good. So a couple of those defenses really scared me, but they were able to bring it back. So very good stuff by them. That map overall so close, so well defended by both teams.
Very much the battle for the basement, I think, is the storyline that we take a look at there with